60 or Friday afternoon. What a classic song. Tell Laura I love her. I was doing a duet there. Ricky Valance, he's got a brand new single out this week and he's on the telephone right now. Hello Ricky, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Still recuperating out. It's been 18 months, 2 years now since I had my heart attack, so yeah, I'm in very good shape now.
Yeah. Well, this week has been a big week for you, sir, because on St. David's Day, which was Wednesday, you had a brand new single out called Welcome Home. So tell our listeners a little bit more about that.
Well, originally in 2015, on this St. David's Day, I travelled down to Wales after my operation and picked up a award for being the first Welshman to pick up a... Guess you never heard about this?
Yeah.
First Welshman to record a number one. And that, for me, was one hell of an award, I can tell you. An epitome of my whole career, I would imagine.
Yeah. Massive hit as well, million seller.
Million sellers. Up to date now, around the world, today, over 20 million.
Wow. So, fast forward to this week. So you've released a song, Welcome Home. Tell us about that song. Why has that come out this week?
Well, Welcome Home was a song that I first heard recorded by Peters and Lee.
Yep.
And I always wanted to record that song, but the years went by and I never did. And then I happened to be talking to my company, my management down in London, and we were talking about doing a charity disc, which would be very nice, and who did we think we should go for? So being a little bit, I won't say prejudiced, but I certainly felt that the Air Force, the Royal Air Force, were the people that were out there nearly every day, with sorties and goodness knows what, then don't get an awful lot of mention. And we did hear from the RAF Association that they were struggling a little bit on the charity side as well. And I thought, well, seeing as I was already I'd been in the RAF, I thought it was the perfect situation to do an album for, which we could then, dedicate and try to make. And here's the big one: we're trying to make £1 million.
Wow, yeah.
And we've had some donations coming in already. We've had quite a few hits now on the video, and things are going in the right direction at this moment.
Oh,
as we know, things, they do their own. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. If it's going to go, it's going to go. So rather than get too impatient, we're waiting for the result of people listening to it, and already we're getting some lovely remarks coming from people about it. So we feel at this stage very confident, and it's been quite exciting as well, to be honest about it. This recording, I haven't touched a microphone now for nearly 2 years, and this was going to be my year that I retired. And immediately people jumping on the wagon, "Oh, this is your last one." I said, well, when I had my heart attack, it was not something after I recuperated for a little while that I wanted to go back to be perfectly honest, to back to stage. Over a period of the last 2 years, yes, I've changed quite a bit. I've got used to the fact that it happened. Not why it happened, but that it happened. And we've got over it now, and we have to look forward. As far as retiring totally is concerned, I can't make a decision about that at this moment in time. But there's a possibility. There could be another disc. And that's not, he said he was going to retire, but here he comes. Not so much that. It's just the fact that when I had this terrible situation that happened to be in Spain, I never dreamed ever that I would ever have a heart attack, because I never ever drunk in my life. I never smoked. And I was a person that looked after their bodies very well. So it was a hell of a poke in the eye, and it's taken me a long time to get over it mentally, if you can understand.
Yeah.
So it's got to that stage now, Terry, where I am looking at things certainly in a different way. I've regained a lot of my confidence, but we'll see how it goes along from here now.
Yeah. Well, like you said, up until 2 years ago, you've performed music all your life, and you were still doing it. You were still on the stage up until 2 years ago, performing live shows and in Spain and all over, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of the things. I worked in America for a little bit as well, and I was in the charts over there in Nashville. I did a lot of country music, and I went over there in the what was it, the 90s, 80s. 80s is the first time I went over in the 80s, and built up a nice relationship over there. And then in 2001, I recorded my first album over there, and 2 months later, I was told that I'd gone into the charts over there with this particular song, that they loved it, and I had to go over and sort of plug it, if you like.
Yeah.
And that's a part of my life there, which gives me the opportunity to fill people in apart from the Tell Laura, because there's an awful lot of people out there who don't know my discography.
Yeah.
And they're in the dark about it, so they think all they can see is Tell Laura, but of course, I've had number ones all over the world. So this is a great opportunity, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it from that aspect that I'm allowed now to tell people a little bit more of myself, and the younger element, indeed, who are quite a few people out there, that youngsters that still love, the 60s music.
Definitely. You keep answering all my questions. I was going to ask you about the number ones all across the world, because, I've been looking at your discography, and it is quite substantial. And you mentioned at the top of the interview, you're the first Welshman to have a number one in the charts. Yes. Before Tom Jones or all the other people who've come later. But you weren't really recognised until recently in Wales that much, were you? It was something that that lack of recognition, I think, was not fair, because you were the first.
It's personally because I haven't worked very much in Wales.
Yeah.
And I've been away, and we've been abroad. I mean, we worked in 19 different countries, including West Africa, in Singapore, Poland, and Persia, all over the world. And, of course, they know my name, but there's awfully of the younger element coming up that knew the name, but couldn't put one to another.
Yeah.
So, basically, when you don't do, you're away from your home. And, I love Wales very much. I'm a very proud Welshman. And I always missed going back to Wales, but that was the way my life and my wife's were. We travelled an awful lot. We lived in London. We lived here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're finally off the road, and we're comfortable where we are now. But yes, that's true. I wasn't. Tom made it where it's not unusual, but nobody down there ever. If you mention Ricky Valance, there's not very few people that wouldn't know my name.
Yeah.
And I'm named all over the world, as I quite rightly said. People know my name everywhere.
Exactly.
I constantly get little messages on the internet and what have you, saying it's great to see you still going, and we love your music and all that. And that really gives you a boost.
Well, it should do, because, again, it's a name that it's up there, It's when you think of 60s hits and you think of Ricky Valance, he's one of the big names of the 60s, and of course, you are better known for Tell Laura I Love Her, but that was just a one point in your career.
We followed that up with Moving Away, for instance, a song, one of my favourite songs, and moved it up. It sold a few 100,000 over here, but it was number one in Austria. Jimmy's Girl was also number one in Scandinavia. I've had 5 number ones in South Africa and Australia, and it's even sold well in the States.
Yeah. Do you get messages from people called Laura, or the wives called Laura? Because that's
it's amazing, really, because when you least expect it, if you're being introduced to somebody and they say, without even thinking about it, "Oh, this is my daughter, Laura," I'm going, oh, bingo. This comes out every so often,
Yeah. Even if
it's. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, even if people don't know the song that well, they know the line "Tell Laura I Love Her." And besides knowing the song is about a tragedy about Tommy. It's about Tommy, isn't it? And his stock car driving.
Yes, it was what was called a tragedy song. And when we was first, I heard the American version by Ray Peterson, and my recording manager, who was the same as Cliff's, Norrie Paramore, said this would be a great debut disc for you. but there is one snag. I said, what's that? He said, well, the content, it's a death content, which means there's a possibility, strong possibility, it could be banned.
Yeah.
So I listened to this song, which I absolutely loved, and my one thought was, how can I do it better and slightly different? So that's when they came up with the idea, well, you were a choir boy. I said, you lead soprano? And I said, I was. And they said, well, this is a hymn. And I went, tell Laura I love her. They went, that's the sound. That's what we want. That's it. And that's when the Ricky Valance sound was born, from there on. And that was me up there. I admired an awful lot of singers, and Elvis and Andy Williams and people that I always kept. And it was a necessary thing for me to keep my own identity and sing like I sing. And that's why you'll find that most all my records, you can tell, once you've heard a couple, exactly who's singing it.
Yeah.
That was important to me. And we went ahead and recorded it. It had 15,000 advance orders on Radio Luxembourg alone, because we didn't have the commercial stations like they do now.
Yeah.
And so basically it was, it just went on from there and on and on and on. 3 weeks at number one, 16 weeks in the charts. It was just an incredible thing to follow. And we found it great difficulty in finding a song which could stand up with that. And the nearest we found was Moving Away. If you ever get a chance to listen to that, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we went on from there, and I became one of the top sellers. Although we didn't reach a number one again in this country, I was one of the top sellers. We stayed with them for 2 years. And you've got to sell records to be with Columbia, believe me. They were one of the top recording companies in the world.
Definitely, yeah.
So we had a good relationship, and then I got a little tired of they were coming up with material which I didn't feel was strong enough. So we went and branched off from them, and I more or less did my own thing. And that, there you have it. And we carried on doing all the tours. I worked with Jerry Lee Lewis. I worked with Gene Vincent, Freddie and the Dreamers, Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, and loads and loads of them.
All legends.
It's wonderful to look back on it.
Yeah. I know about tragedy songs because my name's Terry, and there was another 60s song called Terry, wasn't there, by Twinkle? Wait at the gates of heaven.
There you are, you're destined to meet another terror man. I mean, somebody who's another Terry, and if you look, actually, there's a lot of names in certain songs, aren't there? There are a lot of names.
Yeah. But yeah, I get that
over the years,
I get that sung to me quite a lot.
Terry stands out to me. Now, who was that? Now, who did that one?
Twinkle.
Twinkle, that's right. Yes, Twinkle. Terry.
Yeah, so I get that sung at me
quite a lot. See, so you're a bit famous as well.
I'm just saying, I get that sung to me quite a lot, so I'm thinking of all the Lauras out there who probably heard the song Tell Laura I Love Her. I think we should say hello to all the Lauras listening. Have we got any Lauras listening? Would you like to say hello to all the listeners to this afternoon, Ricky?
What, all the Lauras out there?
Yeah, say hello to all the Lauras.
Well, I hope there are a lot of Lauras out there listening to me today. I hope, in fact, you like 60s music if you went around in that particular time. But I think there's an awful lot of Lauras that were.
Yeah.
And I just like to say God bless you, and it's like you're out there listening. I hope that you like my new record, and more than that, I hope you purchase it, because it will be going to a great cause in the RAF.
Yeah.
It's very important to me now.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to play it in a second. It's called Welcome Home. Like you said, it was by Peters and Lee. I could sing it along with if you want. So I could be Peters or Lee. How's it going now? Welcome home, welcome. Come on in and close the door. Is that the one? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Somebody just shouted, "Don't call us, we'll call you."
I know. Yeah, I'm joking. That's why I'm a DJ.
No, listen, Terry, I'm only joking.
No,
we're going to have a bit of fun. It's good to talk to you. I'm glad that I'm still here now at my time of life, and I'm still able to be able to sing. So, and have a bit of fun along the way too.
No, I love your version.
So we're going to be here today.
We're going to play it right now. Would you like to introduce it? But thank you very much again for coming on. It's been my pleasure chatting to you today, Ricky. But we want you to introduce a song.
Yes, okay. Well, this is a song that I've wanted to record for a very long time. And indeed, now I've had the chance. I hope you enjoy it. It's called Welcome Home.